If you want to be part of the Dark Empire, all you gotta do is put Slick Vic 2017 into the YouTube search bar right there. Press my handsome face right as soon as you see it. Press subscribe to turn on the notification bell so you never miss a single video. Now, without wasting your time, let's get into today's video and welcome to the group. Alright, so today, hey, still got this on my arm. Um, we're gonna be reacting to Nothing Happened Was Hilarious by Mudibata no Goofy. I'm pretty sure we already did a video on him. He was very funny, so we just came out. Let's see what happens.
Go ahead, do your worst. Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation. Well, it all started when my dumbass captain recruited this burping and farting skeleton into our crew. The thing is, I knew something like this would happen when we saw that haunted ghost ship in the middle of the Florida Triangle. I knew Luffy would want to go on board and meet a ghost or two. So I sent two people I thought would be dependable enough to make sure the captain doesn't curse us while he's on this ghost ship, but no. 5 minutes after they leave the sunny, Luffy comes back with a whole skeleton, like, wow, okay, so we are cursed then. But then the burping and farting skeleton says that he's hungry, so we get the cook to feed him, and that's when at the dinner table, our captain is like, all right, Buckle, what are you doing out here? And the skeleton's like, oh, no, my name is Brooke, and actually, I still haven't asked you what's your name. And I'm like, so you have no idea who this is either. You met a skeleton and didn't ask him any questions before you told him to join our crew. That's crazy. But anyway, he tells us who he is and why he's a skeleton, and apparently he died at sea, but he ate a devil fruit that lets his soul return to his body after he dies. But when his soul came back, it got lost in the fog and didn't find his body until it was already a skeleton. Can you imagine that? Getting so lost you let yourself become a skeleton? This guy is stupid, I'm telling you. So he tells us that story, and that's when we notice that this freak doesn't have a shadow either, and that's when Usopp and Chopper jump out of their seats like, I knew it, he's a zombie vampire. So we ask him what's up with the shadow, and the skeleton just keeps burping and farting like we're not even there. Eventually, though, he tells us that because his shadow was stolen, he now cannot go out into the sun or else he's gonna disintegrate. So now that we have proof that he is in fact a zombie vampire, we figure he has nothing left to hide, and he tells us he would join us if he could, but he can't go anywhere until he gets his shadow back. So our captain says, screw that, let's just go get your shadow back. Who took it? I'll punch him in the face. And the bastard's like, no, I could never let you guys risk yourselves for me. Let's just sing instead. And I knew as soon as our captain saw that this burping and farting skeleton was also a musician, it was all over from there. Whoever this zombie vampire was, he was joining our crew. That's when a ghost shows up in the kitchen and scares everybody. We're like, damn it, you zombie vampire, call him off. But Brooke doesn't know what's going on either. We run outside and see an island appear out of nowhere. The Florida Triangle is weird as hell. This island's apparently called Thriller Bark, and as soon as we see Thriller Bark, Brooke tells us goodbye and jumps off toward the island so we can get his shadow back. Apparently the pirates that took his shadow all live here. So Usopp, Nami, and Chopper take the Mini Mary onto Thriller Bark after him. And as soon as they leave the ship and disappear into the fog, we hear them screaming, so it's like, damn, well, okay, that can't be good. And then another ghost shows up on the sunny and just starts fucking with all of us. Pulling on Luffy's face, playing with my swords, and he just starts straight up manhandling the cook, which is funny as hell. But what isn't funny is that at one point, this bitch-ass ghost straight up just starts sexually assaulting Robin. So I'm like, goddamn, what is going on with this freaky-ass island? So we decide we better go save them before they all get killed, so we park the Sunny in a spider web and start exploring. That's when we immediately run into Cerberus, the three-headed guard dog of hell, so I'm like, alright, stand back guys, I'll take care of this. But my captain's like, now hang on Zoro, maybe this thing wants to join our crew too. So Luffy walks up and punches the shit out of Cerberus, and just like that, Cerberus stopped fighting back, and he even let us ride him through the haunted island. So I don't know, I guess what I'm saying is we officially own the guard dog of hell. That's pretty cool. We keep going and we see a zombie tree and a unicorn having tea together, and immediately our captain and Frankie grab them both, and Luffy tries to make them a part of our crew too. He is treating this haunted island like he is playing Pokemon. And I don't even know where all of these freaks are gonna fit on the sunny when this is all over. I mean, it was honestly getting out of hand. We eventually run into even more ghosts, and all I can hope is that these are just spooky ghosts and not the sex pest ghosts that we saw from the ship earlier. But shit gets even weirder when the ghosts phase through Frankie and Luffy, and we find out that they're actually depression ghosts. Touching them makes you immediately lose all of your will and joy, which is without a doubt the scariest shit that's ever happened to us. So we keep moving through the forest until we reach a cemetery, and at this point, after encountering all these weirdos, I'm thinking, alright, what else could there possibly be? And right as I think that, a goddamn zombie pops out of the ground. Jesus Christ, is that a zombie? Hey, Zoro, are you gonna eat your taco that Sanji made us for lunch? I already ate mine, but I'm still hungry. Luffy, turn around, there's something in front of us. Huh? All right. Yeah. There we go. So like I was saying, give me that taco if you're not going to eat it, Zoro. I'm starving. So we all kept walking until we finally make it to the big mansion right in the middle of the island. We break in and start beating everybody up until they tell us where the rest of our friends are. While we're in the castle, eventually I get so lost I ended up inside a coffin. No idea how that happened, but the next thing I know, this long-necked spider bat is peeling off my shadow. And it wasn't just me. A bunch of us got caught and got our shadows stolen. So everyone that got their shadows took wakes up on the sunny and regroups and prepare to go back into the haunted island to get their shadows back. So everybody runs back on a thriller bark, and as soon as I get there, I run into a zombie samurai with a badass sword. I say, hey man, you gonna have to come up off of that. I need it. So we fight a little bit, but the zombie samurai eventually just gives me the sword after I only cut him once, which was weird, but I beat the zombie samurai, and that's when Brooke's shadow returns to him for some reason. I still have no idea what's happening. You know, I wasn't paying attention when we went over the plan back on the sunny. I'm just fighting people. But yeah, Brooke has his shadow back, so that was cool. But I keep looking for whoever has my shadow, and while I'm looking, that's when the long-necked spider bat crawls out from his hole, and this time he's got a zombie giant with him. A zombie giant that sounds and acts remarkably like our captain. He's beating us all up, talking about what he's gonna eat for dinner when he's done wrecking our shit, and he shouts his full name, address, and social security number. Like, it's starting to get really concerning. Like, who is this and what did you do to our captain? So things are getting out of control. The zombie giant is really hard to beat. So we all think to ourselves, okay, if this guy is Luffy somehow, how would we all beat Luffy if we had to? And then we all looked at each other and said, Straw Hat Mechazord. So Frankie played the Power Rangers and Space theme, and we all get into position and combined our strength. And I gotta be honest, I don't think this was gonna work, but at the time it was just so rare that we all agreed on something this ridiculous. I felt like I just had to see it through. That was, of course, until Robin said that she would literally rather die than be a part of whatever the hell we were doing. So Frankie was like, all right, I guess we can just fight him regular then. But before we get all carried away with that, we can sneak in hollow shears and hollow this Nico's autumn crispy corn bar. So you wash your tea. Thing goes off your ass is absent while we're like 20 minutes straight. Mind you, this whole time our captain isn't even here. He's mysteriously absent while we fight this giant zombie that has all of his mannerisms. So we're all wondering where Luffy is, and that's when he shows up. Buff as hell and blue for some reason. And I gotta be honest, I still have no idea what that was about. Like, I don't know why he looked like that, why he has an entirely different moveset now. Like, I'm sure there's a reasonable explanation for this, but this is the second time he's just pulled the transformation out of nowhere. And the thing is, I know he's never gonna say anything about this either. That's what pisses me off the most. But anyway, after Luffy beats up the giant zombie, his new transformation finally wears off and he turns back to normal. So now the only thing we have to do is beat up the long-necked spider bat before the sun comes up. And it was touch and go there for a second. I mean, the sun was fully rising and we were actively being erased, but the long-necked spider bat finally released all of our shadows and the day was saved. Or at least that's what I thought, until another warlord of the sea showed up. I said, oh no! And this guy was carrying a Bible with him. I said, oh my God, I know he fights hard. He out here whooping people for Jesus. That's a whole crusader. Mind you, everybody is thoroughly exhausted. Our captain is literally passed out. And this happens every arc. Every single arc, he puts up points by beating the main bad guy, and then he just goes to sleep, leaving us to handle the rest. And in all fairness, that is usually the hardest part, so we don't mind. But this time, there's a whole ass other warlord to deal with, and everybody is tired as hell. So the warlord tells us, hey, I don't have to kill all of you. Just give me your captain, and then I'll be out of your hair. And we're all like, hell no. And he's like, all right, have it your way. And then he blows everybody the fuck up. Everybody is knocked out. And the warlord moves in to take Luffy away. And that's when I have to save the day again. I hit him with the little she son and cut his shoulder open. And that's when, and you'll never believe this, that's when I find out this warlord is part robot. I said, oh, come on. We ain't ever beat a robot before. I didn't even know that there were robots in the One Piece world. I thought the closest we had was Frankie. But this guy has wires, a metal skeleton, everything. Low-key, I feel like we just weren't supposed to run into this guy yet. Like, we should not still be out here fighting at all. But now we're all way too exhausted to fight another warlord, so I decided to try to level with this guy to see if there's any way we can get out of this without fighting. Come on, man, listen, we just beat up everybody here in like 12 hours. I know the world government wants to get their hands on Luffy after we saved Robin, but what if you guys just took me instead? You would sacrifice yourself for your captain? Of course. It's not like you're getting much of a downgrade, though. I'm the swordsman of the Straw Hats, and more than that, I'm also the co-captain and first mate. So come on, just take my head and that'll be good enough. Wait! Huh? what the hell are you doing? I just can't sit here and let you lie to this man of God. Listen, Mr. Warlord, that guy is not the co-captain. He's an idiot. We don't listen to a single thing he says unless it's peer-reviewed first. I'm serious. He is famously bad at decision-making. This one time, we all got captured in a wax statue, and we caught him trying to cut off his own feet just to escape. That's dedication. No, that is dumb. You are stupid. No, the world government won't be satisfied with a loser like him. Why don't you take me instead? What? Yep, just go ahead and kill me instead of him. This guy's got to live on so he can achieve his dream, to become the best swordsman in the world. I know he can do it too, because despite being an idiot, he's actually the best friend I've ever had. Yaw! Ah! You green-headed bitch. So as I was saying, I am the co-captain and the first mate, and I want you to kill me instead of my captain, Monkey D. Luffy. You got that? So I laid it out for the guy, and I don't know if it's because he's a man of God or if he was just in a good mood, but he actually humors me. He uses his devil fruit powers to remove a tiny bit of Luffy's pain and says if I can take care of all of Luffy's pain, then he'll accept that we've been through enough and he'll be on his way. You know, you really don't have to do this. Go on. Do your worst. All right, no, yeah, that settles it. All right, take it all out right now. I got this. And so I asked the warlord to take me somewhere a little bit further away so that if I died, at least none of my crew members would see me. And even though I was in the worst pain of my life, all I could feel was sadness and guilt for letting Luffy carry all of this on his own. So I stared down the most pain I've ever felt in my entire life, take a deep breath, and dive on in there. And oh my God, did it hurt. There was a bright light for a second, then just darkness. Till finally, I come to and I'm still standing, baby. They tried to take me out, but with discipline and dedication, I proved that I'm the first mate and co-captain of the Straw Hats. So, what the hell happened to you? Why is there so much blood here? Well, fame, power. The king of the pirates and his first mate obtained it all, plus more. Are you dying? Come on, sing along, all your hopes and dreams. Zoro! How long have you been here? I can't feel my legs. How are you still alive? This is so much blood, man. Oh, God, yeah. Maybe get Chopper over here.
Maybe gets up over here. This man's hilarious.
Okay. You got this.
The newest member of the Straw Hats is the fish out of water Jimbe, and I need everybody to understand how funny it is for Jimbe to be in that position. I mean, think about it. Everybody knows the different quirks and ridiculousness that the other Straw Hats get up to. Like, everybody knows that Sanji could at any point die from nosebleeds. Like, literally, he could just bleed to death from looking at someone that's too hot. Everyone knows that Zoro's legs are dyslexic and he can't be trusted to be off on his own. And everybody knows that Frankie's nipples shoot lasers. All of this, as well as the inside jokes the Straw Hats have with each other, Jimbe's coming in fresh to all of it. And it is just so funny watching him try to navigate through all that. And I truly think Jimbe is one of the funniest people in all of One Piece. Because it's not even counting how funny the entire story is from Jimbe's perspective. So walk with me for a second, okay? Imagine being Jimbe, okay? At the beginning of his story, we find him inside Impel Down. You see, originally he was one of the 7 warlords of the sea, and he was protesting the war at Marineford. He refused to take part in it, so they locked his ass up. And while he's locked up, they actually put him in the same jail cell as Ace, the person who was set to be executed at Marineford. And Jimbe and Ace are really cool. They get to chatting about Ace with the Whitebeard pirates, and Ace is telling Jimbe all about his kid brother. He's like, hey, listen, my brother's a lunatic. He's a dangerous, unhinged crackhead. In a couple years, he's probably going to take this whole place by storm. I'm telling you. That guy's going to be king of the pirates one day. So he's like, all right, I mean, if you say so, but also, like, that's your brother, so you would be the one to say that. So yeah, Jimbe's thinking, like, I'm sure this guy is something, but I don't know if he's that impressive, all right? And while Jimbe's thinking that, guards show up and escort Ace out of Impel Down so they can get him to Marineford so he can get his execution started. Funny thing is, though, a couple hours later, the dangerous lunatic Ace Ace was describing to Jimbe actually shows up right outside Jimbe's cell, and he's like, get in, loser, we're starting a war with the world government. That's actually not even what he does. He gets to the jail cell that Jimbe's in, and at first he's just looking around the other jail cells like, okay, let's see. Which one of you dangerous delinquents wants to come help me save my brother? He just starts opening jail cells and letting criminals out so that they can help him save Ace. One of the jail cells he opens has crocodile in it. And Jimbe's like, whoa, hang on. First of all, why does he still have that cigar in here? And second of all, if you're freeing people to help you save Ace, then free me, okay? I actually know Ace, and I'm not a criminal mastermind like Crocodile is. So with this, Ace's brother lets Jimbe out of jail, and Jimbe officially meets Luffy. He introduces himself as Monkey D. Luffy, the man who's going to be king of the pirates one day, and everybody just makes a mad dash for the exit of Impel Down. Now understand that Impel Down is the most secure prison in the One Piece world, so escaping it is no easy feat. But together, all of these lunatics band together, and they make it out. They get through all the nonsense of Impel Down and head straight to Marineford to plunge headfirst into even more nonsense. Now, there's a lot of nonsense that happens here, but in all that nonsense, Jimbe gets a really good idea of the person Luffy is. He watches him almost kill himself so many times just to try to save Ace, and Jimbe likes that a lot because Jimbe is also a really loyal person. But the thing that Jimbe also realizes is that, yeah, this guy's loyal, but he's also an insane person. Like, Jimbe watches this guy push himself to the brink of death like 5 times. He also watches him shorten his own lifespan just so he can keep fighting. He watches him get into a fist fight with a dude made out of poison. Like, he didn't have a plan. This was before hockey in One Piece. He was just straight up like, no idea how to beat this guy. I'll just keep punching him and hope that works out. Spoiler alert, it didn't work out. He just got poisoned. They get to Marineford and Luffy pulls up to Whitebeard like, shut up, dummy. I'm gonna save Ace, and if you get in my way, I'll beat you up too. Jimbe is like, what are you... Stop! Later on, Jimbe watches this maniac pull up on all 3 admirals. The admirals, okay? Not Sengoku, the golden Buddha that just sits around and doesn't do anything. The admirals, Akainu, Aokiji, and Kizaru, the dogs that actually run out and commit murders in the One Piece world, okay? Luffy pulls up to all 3 of them like, what's up? Y'all fighting me now if you don't let my brother go. Even the admirals are like, aight. Good shit, like you got heart, okay? You're not supposed to be here right now, though, okay? We got to get you out of here, but we gonna remember who you are, okay? We promise. Against all the odds, it almost looks like they're gonna save Ace, but of course, that is not meant to be. Tragically, both Ace and Whitebeard lose their lives, and this breaks Luffy, as you could imagine. And luckily, Jimbe, Luffy, and a couple other people, they managed to escape Marineford, but Luffy is in shambles. They escape with their lives, but like I said, Luffy is not in good shape, okay? It's just Jimbe and Luffy chilling on Amazon Lily, and Luffy's like, oh my god, I'm so weak, what am I gonna do? So Jimbe steps in and becomes Luffy's Uncle Phil. Puts him back together like, you know what, you've lost a lot, okay, I get it, but you can't think about that right now, Luffy. You gotta think about what you still have. So that's the chaos of Impel Down and Marineford. Now they're gonna do a time skip, and for about 2 years, Luffy's gonna be training with Rayleigh so that he can get his hockey right and be ready to hit the new world. So let's fast forward to the new world, okay? As soon as we get back from the time skip, the first island that we get to is Fishman Island. Now, Jimbe is on Fishman Island working to improve human and fishman relations, while a stupid meth-addicted fish person named Horty Jones is running around with his sex offender best friend, Vanderdecken. And they're causing chaos. Like, every day they're both trying to find new ways to undermine the authority of the royal fish family, and Jimbe's trying to defuse it while he's on Fishman Island. And so all of that complicated political and social nonsense, all of that's going on, and that's when suddenly the lunatic that Jimbe helped back in Marineford shows up out of nowhere. And this madman doesn't understand what's going on at all, and he doesn't care. He is on a mission to punch Horty Jones and his sex offender best friend who wants to marry the 16-year-old mermaid princess. Speaking of the princess, she's out of the royal fish palace for some reason. She's traveling with the crackhead that broke you out of jail, and she is forbidden from leaving the palace because of the crazy sex offender that keeps throwing axes at her. So when you run into her with the crackhead that you saved at Marineford, you are left only to assume that she has, for some reason, been kidnapped by this insane person. So Jimbe is freaking out trying to explain how it's gonna look if a crazy crackhead human swam to Fishman Island just to beat up fish and kidnap princesses. And Luffy is confused, like, why do I have to be politically correct when I'm fighting a meth-addicted fish person? And his sex pest best friend, by the way, like, that does not seem fair. I know I don't understand the complex dynamics of fish-on-fish violence or how it's gonna look if I swoop in and try to handle this like I'm some human savior, but y'all aren't doing anything. Like, you can't just let a sex offender and a drug addict take control of your country. I don't know anything about politics, but I know that's not right. So Jimbe calms Luffy down, and they both work out a plan to fight Horty Jones to solve the issue without Luffy looking like the Christian human savior coming to colonize Fishman Island. The plan itself doesn't matter, because Luffy wasn't paying attention to it. They basically just get kidnapped on purpose, and Luffy waits for the signal to hop out and start punching people. Bunch of nonsense happens, but against all odds, Fishman Island is saved from Horty Jones and his group of meth-addicted fish. During all of that, Luffy gets injured and loses a lot of blood, and he's gonna die unless he gets a transfusion of blood from someone with the same blood type. And this is the true cinema of Fishman Island, because it's revealed that Jimbe has the same blood type as Luffy, and he gives Luffy some to save his life. And while Jimbe is giving him blood, he's like, you know, this actually reminds me of a really good story. It's the story of Fisher Tiger. And Luffy's like, yeah, don't nobody care about that. Listen, Jimbe, I want you to join my crew. And so there it is, the conversation that changed Jimbe's life. And Jimbe is flattered, because at this point, he's actually way more attached to this guy than he is with his actual boss, Big Mom. The problem is, though, he's still working with the Big Mom pirates, and betraying them before his service with them is over could have dire consequences for both him and the Straw Hats. So Jimbe tells Luffy, hey, you know, I would, but I can't. But I will eventually, okay? Just let me tie up some loose ends with Big Mom so I can leave in her good graces. And Luffy fights it at first, but Jimbe is persistent, so Luffy's eventually like, okay, Jimbe, fine. You do whatever you gotta do, and then come find us. Just don't take too long, because if we gotta come get you, Jimbe, if we gotta come to Whole Cake Island and get you, it's gonna be bad, Jimbe. It's gonna be bad for everybody there. I'm saying, like, Whole Cake Island might not even be there by the time we leave. So if you care about anybody that's on Whole Cake Island right now, please, Jimbe, please, I am begging you, do not make us come get you. And Jimbe's like, God damn, I understand. Just give me a couple weeks. So Jimbe successfully talks Luffy out of crashing out, or at least he thought he did, because as soon as they come to an agreement, like 5 minutes later, Luffy is on the phone with Big Mom calling her ugly and saying he's gonna beat her up and take all her shit. And Jimbe is like, what are you doing? I still work there. Like, do you guys realize how insane that is? That's like you go to a job interview while you already have a job, right? You're in the job interview and they're like, hey, you know, we like you a whole lot. In fact, we want you to start tomorrow. And you're just like, hey, just let me put in my 2 weeks first. Just let me put in my 2 weeks, and then I swear I will be here 2 weeks later, I promise. And the interviewer looks at you like, yeah, no problem at all, no problem. As soon as you leave, they pick up the phone and they're just like, hey, you guys are ugly. I hate you, actually. And, you know, you're not even that good at what you do. We're way better. And this guy, he's coming with us. So a few weeks passed by, and that lunatic was true to his word. You see him on Whole Cake Island, eating all the houses and fighting with the literal army of Big Mom's forces until he eventually gets captured. This is when you realize he didn't even bring his whole crew. This madman invaded an emperor's territory with like 3 people. You find him in jail about to be executed by Big Mom's forces, and as soon as you save him, he's like, tick-tock, Jimbe, I told you we was gonna come for you. Like, there's way more stuff that went into this, like Sanji being kidnapped, and Jimbe knows that. But from his perspective, he asked Luffy to give him a few weeks, and as soon as that time period was up, he showed up and put himself in a situation that forced Jimbe to pick a side so he could leave with him. And that's literally what happened. Jimbe learns that Luffy is here for Sanji and suggests that they team up with another member of the worst generation, Capone Gang Beige. Together they concoct a truly ridiculous plan to assassinate Big Mom with rocket launchers. Jimbe can't believe his ears. He's like, I don't think that's gonna work. She's an emperor, but whatever. Okay, let's do it, I guess. Obviously, the plan goes sideways and they are chased out of Whole Cake Island, and at the very end, Jimbe sees that his old crew, who was working for Big Mom with him, is stuck in battle with Big Mom's forces. So he knows, as their old captain, he's gotta stay behind and help them escape. And Luffy says the same thing he said in Fishman Island, like, listen, Jimbe, I understand. You got 2 weeks, and so help me God, Jimbe, if we have to come get you again, it's up. But that didn't have to happen this time, and a few weeks later, Jimbe meets Luffy and the Straw Hats in Wano, and Jimbe officially joins the Straw Hats. And so all of that's really funny, but now we can really get into my favorite jokes from Jimbe since he joins the Straw Hats. Right off the bat, as soon as Jimbe gets into Wano, they do the raid on Onigashima, which leads to one of my favorite jokes in the entire series. So the first step of the raid is them sneaking into Onigashima, all right? They dress up as beast pirates, and they just have to blend in with the crowd. Like, that's all anyone's supposed to do. Just blend in for now until shit starts to turn up, right? So at the very beginning, Jimbe's mingling with the rest of the queue like, yeah, what's up? We're all Straw Hats here. And he's chilling with Luffy, and Luffy's like, damn, what's that lunatic doing over there? And he's pointing at Kid, and he's like, all right, well, he's probably gonna get us into trouble. Don't worry, I'm gonna go after him. And Jimbe's like, well, all right, you're the captain. Go ahead, go after him. Go stop that lunatic from doing something stupid. We believe in you, Captain. And then, as soon as Jimbe says that, right next to Jimbe, Zoro's like, oh, look, there goes Luffy. He's only gonna make it worse. Don't worry, Jimbe. I'm gonna go after him and I'm gonna make sure Luffy doesn't make anything worse. And so then Zoro runs off and Jinbei's like, well, that makes sense. He is the first mate, sure. You know, he seems really dependable and responsible, and I know he can fight really good. So yeah, watch after you, Captain. I know you can do it. So Zoro takes off after Luffy. A couple minutes later, the rest of the Straw Hats are looking around like, God damn it, where's Luffy? Oh, God damn it, where's Zoro? What's happening? And Jinbei's like, no, guys, don't worry, okay? Luffy ran off to go stop Kid from doing anything stupid. And they're like,
you're getting money back on your flight to paradise.
Came through dripping. Diamonds on my wrist, they dripping.
he's only gonna make things worse. And then Jinbei's like, okay, well, but that's what Zoro said, and so Zoro ran after him, so that should be fine, right? And everybody's like, he is only gonna get lost. And Jinbei's like, wait, I don't understand. Did I do something bad? They're like, yes. And Jinbei's like, well, wait a minute though. That's the captain. We don't let the captain do whatever he wants. And that's the first mate. Like, I figured like those two together, like everything should be fine. And everybody has to break it down for Jinbei. Jinbei, listen to me. First of all, Zoro is not the first mate. He just tells people that because he's a dork, all right? That he is not the first mate. We do not listen to anything he says unless it is peer reviewed first, okay? That guy's an idiot. And Luffy, you should know who that guy is. I can't believe we have to explain to you how dangerous it is to let him do whatever he wants. And Jimbe hears all that like, oh my God, you're right. You are 100% right. I don't know what I was thinking. I hope to God it's gonna be okay. It's too late to stop it now though, so they continue with their raid on Onigashima, which leads into another one of my favorite jokes when Jinbei and Robin are both undercover. And this is when we learn that Jinbei is actually Robin's acting opposite. Like other Straw Hats will engage in the acting nonsense that they take part of. Obviously, Nami likes to dress up, Usopp likes to dress up and pretend to be somebody else. I would have never thought that Jinbei would join in on the nonsense, and he was pretty damn good at it too. Jinbei and Robin are out there like, hey, why don't we cut open his guts and pour all the blood in this goblet and drink it like it's wine? Like they were getting way too into it, and I expect that shit from Robin, but Jinbei was right there like, you know, fuck it, I'm not gonna let these people down again. If we're acting, I'm acting. Let's do it. So funny. But another joke that I like in Onigashima is when Jinbei is fighting Who's Who, and Who's Who is like, oh, look, a dirty fish person. And Jinbei is like, come on, dude, racism in the year of our Lord 2025. Come pull it together, bro. But the reason why this is so funny to me is, do you guys remember when Jinbei and the rest of the Straw Hats were leaving Whole Cake Island and Judge pulled up next to them like, Sanji, you're nothing but a piece of shit and I hate you. Look, go back, watch that scene right now. Watch that scene and look at Jinbei's face, okay? He is pissed, all right? He is way more pissed at Judge bad-mouthing Sanji than he is at Who's Who for being racist in Wano. And I need you to really put that into perspective, all right? Jinbei met a Ku Klux Kitty in Wano. And that guy did not piss him off as much as Judge when he was bad-mouthing Sanji. I just think that's beautiful. I think it's hilarious and beautiful. But of course, the Straw Hats beat up Kaido and the rest of the Beast Pirates, and Wano is saved. And while they're leaving Wano, the next joke that I really like is how Jinbei still doesn't really have a grasp on the dynamics of the crew, because that's when he learns that Nami has Conqueror's Haki. And it genuinely scares the shit out of him. Like the face Jinbei makes when he realized that, oh my God, so wait, so Nami's actually in charge. Okay, no, that's fine. I wish someone would have told me that. And from there, of course, we go on to Egghead. And the funniest thing about that is because he's trying to prove to everybody that he understands it now, because he's just gotten so much wrong when he was in Wano, or at least he feels like he's gotten so much wrong when they were in Onigashima. So in his head, the whole time while he's on Egghead, he's like, I gotta prove to them that I understand it now. Which makes it funny when at the very beginning, he is paired up with Luffy, Chopper, and Bonnie. Like they're just kids running around eating holograms, and he's watching them like he's a dad at the fair. And so far, nothing's going wrong. So he's like, hell yeah, look at us out here being the Straw Hats. Who would have thought? And then that's when Robert bitch-ass Lucci shows up and throws off all the fun. And eventually the rest of the world government shows up and just starts trying to kill everybody. And all of it turns into basically the end of Whole Cake Island all over again. The Straw Hats have to rush to escape the island. And in the middle of all that chaos, Zoro is still out fighting with Robert bitch-ass Lucci, who for some reason, no matter how many times he gets his ass beat, he just keeps coming back for more, only to get bumped further down the ladder. I swear to God, eventually, even Chopper's gonna get his 1v1 with Lucci. But the best part about Lucci fighting Zoro and taking too long is when Sanji calls Jinbei like, yo, Jinbei, you gotta go get that idiot. He is wasting time and he's never gonna find his way back to the ship. And Jinbei is just like, nope, I understand. I'm already running after him. Like, Jinbei was already running after Zoro. He remembered Onigashima and he's just like, I just know you know what? I can't let them down again. Like, this wasn't even his fault, but he wants everybody to know, like, hey, I'm learning, all right? I'm learning who everybody is. And one of the first things that I've learned is that that guy is stupid, so I'm gonna go get him. So Jimbe grabs Zoro, and everyone makes it back to the Sunny in time to escape. Which takes us to the current arc in the manga, Elbaf. And without spoiling anything, in case you're not caught up, Jimbe is currently captured with most of the Straw Hats in a dire position. And as soon as they're captured, Nami starts talking shit like, oh my god, you guys are useless. Jimbe, how could you let this happen? And Jinbei's like, how is this my fault? Matter of fact, where is Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji? And the crew's like, they ran off on their own again. Oh my god, why didn't you stop them, Jimbe? And Jinbei's like, okay, I'm confused. If they're so reckless, why do we let them go anywhere? And everyone's like, we don't. They just keep getting away. Hilarious, hilarious, hilarious. Truly funny stuff, man. Like I said, and that's not even been resolved in Elbaf yet. So they're just captured right now. Like, again, without spoiling anything, like, we truly don't know what's happening up there. All we know is that Jimbe is still, like, he's feeling like he has not fully caught up to everybody else and the wacky dynamics that they're a part of, but he's making up for it, bit by bit, every single day. One of the things I'm really looking forward to is Jimbe opening up to some of the silliness and the nonsense of the Straw Hats. Like, a lot of people in the Straw Hats are forced to play the straight man in a lot of comedic moments, but they all, like, literally all of them open up and show their sillier side, and they get to shine in some really, really funny moments, and I want that for Jimbe. I really do. And I know we're going to get it eventually, so I am not stressed. But yeah, that's about it for this one, guys. Jimbe is hilarious. Did I miss any Jimbe jokes that you think are really funny? Let me know down in the comments. To me, though, there might never be anything funnier than when Jimbe releases Luffy and Zoro into Onigashima like he's releasing animals into the wild, and the rest of them telling him like that was the worst thing that you could have let happen. But yeah, that's about it for this one, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being interested, and I cannot wait to see you when we do Thriller Bark in the next one. Bye.
Dawn power sets, traps, locks, and removes 99.
Well, it's a good thing we already did it. So, yeah, I guess that'll be it for this one too, as well. So, hope you guys enjoyed, and see y'all in the next one. Peace out.